Okay, we'll call our September 15th night Commissioners meeting to order. Let us all stand for a prayer. Gracious Father, Lord, we come this evening just thanking you for your grace and mercy and blessings to allow us to see another day, Lord, to come together to conduct the business of the county. We thank you for this privilege. We thank you for your blessings upon this nation, our state, and our county. And we ask your continued guidance and protection. We thank you now for all of our employees, citizens, and officials. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on our agenda will be the approval of the agenda. And I don't see a need to make any adjustments. Are there any adjustments? Okay, hold on. Okay, we do need to add the courthouse discussion. We can make that under old business. Make that 5A. Okay, also have a request for refund. From the tax department. And we will move up in our administrative reports. Just make that item 5. Okay. If there's no other modifications, we'll call for a motion to accept the agenda as modified.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so motion is second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Do we have any citizens' comments? Mr. Earl Rand.
Well, I did have a comment or two that I was going to make, but all of those citizens that told me they were coming here tonight, that thing is coming back at me, coming here tonight, didn't show up, so I'm not going to say anything, Henry. If they don't feel like that they can come up here and want to be here, it ain't my place to do it. But I would just throw this in, and this is just, has nothing to do other than what I was here Monday and Wednesday, first Wednesday. I mentioned about when the sheriff was here apologizing to the sheriff. And of course y'all were all here, but you also see the video if you want to, and I didn't call any names. I use organizations with no names. I had a phone call from a lady in Pasquotank County this morning, and she said to me, she said, I know her for a long time. She says, Earl, tell me about Thomas Hill. And I said, well, what do you want to know? And she said, well, Thomas Hill called me up, and apparently he don't think very much of you. That's my comments.
All right. Okay. Our next item would be under administrative reports. We have a tax refund before you. County manager, you want to go over this? Okay. Well,
I'm sorry, okay.
No problem. Apparently from the tax department, we have a request for refund for taxpayer for 132.91. Benjamin Wayne Whitehurst. Motor vehicle was sold. No other tax due at this time. And the refund is 132.91. Everything seems pretty cut and dry. What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to pay back to
All right. Have a motion?
Second.
There's a motion second that we authorize the tax refund. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay. Our next item would be under old business, personnel board recommendations. You have that before you. Sandy's not here. The personnel board meeting met, and we approved the senior building inspector job description. We made some changes to that, minor changes. I believe you have a copy of it. Okay. I believe at the bottom where you see the strike through, all through there, there's some strike throughs and underlying changes, but they're for clarification and to come in line with what's currently required. I believe on the education, we added in the bottom where it reads requires a high school diploma and 5 to 7 years journeyman level experience in various building trades, 3 years experience as a building inspector, and certification as a level 2 inspector, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and building, and 2 years associate degree or higher preferred. And those were the major changes. It kind of brings us in line with what is normally the industry standard. And it's been recommended to the Commissioners by the Personnel Board to approve this change in the job description. Is there anything else you want to add?
No.
Mr. Chairman, for the fellow commissioners, Mr. Mitchell was in on the discussion, who is the current building inspector, and he was the one that made some of these suggestions.
Pleasure of the board.
I make a motion we approve the new description for the chief building inspector.
Second.
Next motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, the second item was the approval of grade and step changes revised and revise the job description of the customer service department to be effective October 1. The responsibilities and duties of the customer service department has expanded quite a bit, and they've taken on additional duties. And for the personnel board, it was agreed that the customer service supervisor grade should be increased from a step 19 to a 21 step 10, and the customer service representatives with the grades would be increased from a 13 to a 14, one being a step 7 and the other one step 2, based on their duties, responsibilities, and longevity. So it was discussed among the personnel board, and there seen enough merits to recommend to the Board of Commissioners that we approve the pay changes as presented.
We have a recommendation from the personnel committee, Jim?
Yes, the Personnel Board unanimously approved these recommendations. Customer Service Supervisor, when they were initially put in that position, they really did not have a salary change, nor did their pay grade fit into the new scale. And as we looked at what those responsibilities and duties encompass, that it was the benefit of the individual and the county to upgrade that position.
In looking at it before tonight, I don't always take into fully account what other counties are doing, but the size of these particular counties, I believe, the comparison does merit comparing Gates County to those counties. Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the recommendation of the Personnel Board on this matter.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so the motion second that we approve the job classification and the pay increases as presented by the Personnel Board. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Thank you much. Okay, the next item. Find my agenda. I mean, I can't even get it. Okay. Would be our old. Okay, yeah, it is Old Courthouse discussion. That is,
This is one of the additional items that was placed before you tonight.
and what has happened as we got into this project, initially, we were looking at several $1 million project. And instead of going that route, we did want somewhat of a in-house general contracting, if you might call it that. And we began to address the items that needed be renovated and get the cost for those individual items. We had a budget set up of about $600,000. And the way it was set up was to, the county would put in $350,000 and we had $250,000 that we would solicit for donations for those citizens that wanted to see this project move forward. But we really never got the advertisement out and to get those kind of donations for this project. So what we have now is we have come within, okay, thank you. We have come within $21,000 of our budgeted county portion budget of $350,000. And so we're at a point where, once we pay these contingencies or encumbrances, at the bottom, Risen Painting, Clearscapes, Waste Industries, and Andrus, they're looking at another $31,526 on top of the $296,892.80. So we need to kind of step up the donation part, or to look at where we are on the county input. We budgeted $350,000 county, but obviously that is going to be taken up pretty soon.
When we met with Clearscapes, seems like somebody in the project said that they had some expertise in grants for buildings such as this. Do I remember that correctly?
I think John, we were depending on John for writing the grants. Of course, that never materialized.
But that comment was made.
I think in their team, when they made their proposal, there was a lady that held the expertise in that area.
I believe you're correct.
But the issue with Clearscapes is that we really never contracted with them to do the project. I mean, they were going to do the overall project, but we were talking several $100,000 just for them. So we basically contracted with Clearscapes just to do the design work and architectural work that we needed on the west wall and whatever other repairs that had to be done. So they had to take the project over so that we could have access to those grant writers.
And the committee, the Old Courthouse Committee, we developed a fundraising letter, but the problem was, when you're asking people for money, you need to have a clear statement in there about the use of the courthouse. And at that time, we didn't know what offices were going to be moving in there, and so that was kind of put on the back burner. The letter exists, but it needs, and it's well written, but we didn't know which specific offices were going in there and exactly some of that. And it's better when you're fundraising to be as specific as you can about how the money is going to be used.
Commissioner Laughlin?
Yes, sir.
I'm good. Are you at liberty to talk about what contributions the Historic Society may be able to make toward this project?
Well, I know we met today, in fact, some of the executive committee, and certainly we are prepared to redo the east wing, their upstairs, downstairs of that, and we were going to take that part on. I did not mention anything about this new concern because I didn't know if I would be at liberty to say until we had met tonight. Certainly, I can take that back to the committee and see if they would make a contribution to that. And I can't speak for them, but I would think that we might be able to do some.
So we see these, I see that these are outstanding encumbrances. So these, there's work that's been performed and payment to be due soon. Is that the way I'm seeing that?
Yes, for the Rising Painting, that is listed as his final payment when he completes painting of the courthouse. Same with Clearscapes, there's still a balance due with not being invoiced, and Andreas because they've stopped. As you can see, Waste Industries, that's an estimate based upon how long the waste containers stay over there. And then we do have a proposal in to remove the trees. That's why that is listed there with a question mark, based upon the discussion at the meeting at the beginning of the month. So those are things that we have already discussed, and that we either owe or we are in the process of.
And we still have enough money to cover all those, Commissioner Owens, and still have money left over.
Are there any plans to pursue any grants?
I would say yes, wouldn't we? But, it's, you know, you have to see what they are and get someone to write them. We really have not
Done that.
pursued that.
Reed Thomas, who works with the Cultural Resources Division, was down probably in August, and he was very pleased with the work that had already been done on the courthouse, and he thought that we certainly would be in line to get the Covington. And I meant to bring my paperwork about Covington tonight, but that is for preservation work, and he thought sure that we would be able to obtain that. I don't know what the dollar amount would be.
The Covington has awarded some pretty big numbers in the past. I've seen some of those. I don't know what requirements required to get the increments. But from what I've learned about grant writing, these dollars that we have spent can be shown as skin in the game. I know there's a better word for it than that, but.
That we have put our money in.
Right.
And
And we spend our dollars first.
And, you know, if we add what the Historical Society has paid over the years, because we have a long list of things that we have done to the courthouse, installing the elevators, and doing a variety over the years. Certainly, the county has put, well, through private donations or public donations, we have put money into that. So yes, we do have skin in the game. That is always a plus. When you have people like Reed Thomas backing you, that is also a plus.
Your oversight.
I do have a question about the expenditures. Southern Bank, we've got three, I mean, this is small, but Southern Bank has 3 charges, Visa charges, what are those?
I noticed that too, and I didn't understand that at all.
Visa charges.
I can ask Sandy, since that took place in April of this year. And she apologizes for not being able to be here tonight, but I can ask Sandy.
All right, if you go down the list also, under item 143, about 3/4 down the page, where it has 11/5/13, the third 143, it says W. Rodan Associates Incorporated, corporate advance on the courthouse, $12,000. Now that's on 11/5, and on 12/19, we paid them $12,000. It makes you wonder, if we advanced them, what is this $12,000 for?
I'm assuming it's the way his contract was written. That's all I can address at this time, because I do not have it in front of me.
We just want to make sure we didn't double pay, because I know we have in the past, the computer has kicked out and shown double payments on things like payroll, and even payments to individuals. But we've seen it happen in the past, I think, a couple of years ago.
For example, 10/7, that we have the same date, same journal entry, same dollar.
We don't
I
want
mean, it doesn't mean it's a double payment.
Yeah.
Well, I see it's,
It's a correct poster, but I don't understand that, because those, one of those storage things was done away with earlier on.
11, and then 11/5, the same thing, and it doesn't say to correct posting there. See that?
I think it's worth having a review to make sure that all these entries are legitimate and, they're not duplicates.
Mr. Chairman, are we in a position that we can have one more time? Or is the historic courthouse committee coming, saying we need some attention by a certain date, or?
I think that's more time, but I think the board would need to go ahead and authorize soliciting citizens of the county or businesses or wherever for private donations. We have not published that yet. To have a board endorsement, I think that would, the committee would not be doing it on their own. Commissioner Hoffman, do you have to figure that or what?
Yes, sir, it's kind of taking me as surprise, I don't know how you want to word it. But we'll come up with a way.
I think we have,
I think we need probably to proceed with the Covington, trying to get that grant. But I also think that somewhat there is some time frame on this because the that west wing, you know, the beams are exposed and at this present time where they have installed the beams and they've done a tremendous job, but about the walls, you know, I hate to leave them exposed.
Because on the front page, if I may, there are the three options that have been submitted by Clearscape to correct the issues with the west wing. And as Commissioner Hopper just said, whenever I spoke with John Zellweger, he said to him time was of the essence with it getting colder and with those beams being exposed, and he felt like something did need to take place sooner rather than later. Also, the west wing cannot be painted, of course, until all the repairs are done.
and just to piggyback on that, Commissioner Owens, if you look on this page with Clearscape where your figures are, to do the redesign on the west wing, they had to come in and do another design on how to repair that because the contractor was not comfortable with trying to repair it with the first design. They said it was dangerous. So the west wing, if you remove the outer white of brick and relay with helical anchors, ties, and brick and chimney through so that the firebox may be reopened in the future if desired. Be stucco tool to match oriental joints. The cost is between $25,000 and $30,000. Now, the north and south walls, you've got options 1 and 2, and option 1 has been discounted, but option 2 is between $11,000 and $15,000. So, if we go ahead with the west wing repair and the north-south walls, which needs to be done as soon as possible, we're talking about an additional $36,000 to $45,000. And that would go over the $21,000 that we have left. So that is the issue. And thank you, County Manager, for bringing that,
All right.
making that.
And if I may, when I spoke with Mr. Zellweger, he said, if I can explain all the options a little bit more, he said with the north and south wall, he said option number 3 does not cost anything. He said you could recommend repainting the steel tubes that are on the outside if you wanted to go that route, paint them the same color as the building. He said option 2, which is basically taking those tubes and we put them on the inside. When those of us went on the tour, the inside is gutted. They would replace those tubes on the inside, and then when you close the room back up, you would not see those. And then option 1 is the most expensive, where they would do the same thing that they would do on that west wall, replace that outer white of brick with new conventional brick and new cement. It does not have big historical cement, it does not have big historical brick, and then they will, correct, and they will stucco it all at one time.
I don't think that was preferred. The preferred was 2. You wouldn't really want to leave it the way it is with those tubes out there.
Option 3 is
You can scratch that. Anytime something has no cost and it's free, you can scratch that.
He wanted to make sure everyone was aware of all 3, the most expensive to the least expensive, so that's why he did include it.
Clearscape is waiting for authorization to move forward.
Correct.
So I guess it comes back to the fact that we've only got 21,000 left in the budget. We would need to approve an additional, up to an additional $24,000.
Or however much, right, whichever option you go with. And Sandy and I did discuss funding, and she said that there is money in the fund balance if the commissioners decided that they wish to proceed.
Well, if you kind of look at these two options together, it means that we would need an additional 15 to 24,000, correct? Because we have 21 left in the
Correct.
original budget. So the way I do my calculations is from 15 to 24,000 that we would need extra.
Address the west wall and the north and south.
And using option 2 is what I was looking at.
And in order to get back to Clearscape and authorize them to go ahead and issue that design change.
Well, what we're talking about is, say, if we go with option 2 on the north and south walls, the building is still being stabilized. That allows us to not be held up on the stucco and the painting, allows us to move forward.
The west wall does require the stucco, because that will include the new brick.
Option 2, all they're going to do is actually reverse the tubes,
Right.
put them on the inside, they still serve the same function.
And like the county manager said, at this time, the west wing is gutted inside. So it would be easy to put the tubes inside.
I guess we will need to authorize the Old Courthouse budget to be increased to cover this cost. I hate to say a dollar figure until Commissioner Hoffman, I'm sure you're just not right.
Well, when you do that, but I will say, we will work with Ruth Covington to see if we can recoup some of this money. We will work with the fundraising.
Right.
And I will go back to the Historical Society and see if they will, what their donation would be.
If we were,
And he might read, and Mr. Thomas might have some other ideas besides the Covington.
How about the interior? You got a good layout now before, man, who's going to do what? Who's going when?
For the interior, for the entire building, there are preliminary plans. I've been in discussion with one of the departments already to see if we can perhaps renegotiate some of the space that they have requested. And then, so that some of the additional county staff can be moved over to the courthouse as well. But we've not come to a conclusion about that. The west wing will most definitely include the Chamber of Commerce. So they are most anxious to see this project completed so that they will then have a permanent
I
house.
don't think we could pick them up for a donation too.
But that also includes the Fair Building.
Right.
Yes.
I think that all of that should be noted when you start applying for grants.
the Chamber of Commerce
Go ahead.
having access, having a place to call their home would be huge as far as a grant. And I would think that, having served on that board in the past, that they probably would be willing to work beside the Historical Society in fundraising.
That's the thing, you got a grant administrator, when you hire one, or if you got one in-house, so they pursue these things. I don't like, Scotland's not as very popular, but he pursued quite a few, and we were able to get grants through him that, we really never thought about. But that's what they did. I don't know if you might want to just touch bases with some potentials out there and see if they would work on a fee only. In other words, I don't know, rather than having to draw a contract with them to bring them on board, if they get these grants,
Administration's
include.
Yeah, the administration, maybe something we might want to take a look at. 'Cause it does take time, it takes to know how people who do that, they know what's out there. That's what they do. And that may be a way of getting some pretty immediate help. Okay. Looks like we're gonna need a vote, a motion to increase the budget to cover the expenses for Clearscape. I don't want to put a dollar figure, you know what the actual dollar, Mr. Harper said between what, 11 and 24?
Well, if I looked at 25, I added 25 and the 11, that's 36, and 30 and the 15 is 45, and we have 21 already in pocket. So that's 15 to 24,000, but no, my math makes it all.
25. My recommendation would be 25.
And that would come from the general fund, talking to the finance officer.
Yes.
I think we can find money somewhere.
From the fund balance, I'm sorry. She said from the fund balance, yes.
Mr. Chairman, does this get us completely stabilized with the outside of the building? By putting this amount of money in there at this time?
Well, the budget is for 600,000, and I think when you look at the other scope of work, there's probably some other work that's going to need to be done after. This is not going to completely finish everything.
The building itself should be complete. There may be some additional cost to painting the west wing that has been brought up by the painter, since he will have to come back in a later time and would have to rent his lift again. So there might be a small increase in that fee. But as far as stabilizing, that's from everything that I have read and been told, it should cover that cost. Now, there would still be some landscaping fees that we've not discussed, and furniture for the building.
The footing,
I'm talking about the stabilizing of the building and those type things. In other words, finished outside says weather tight.
Right, and I would think this should do that. But-
All right, now you keep, I've heard you say it twice tonight, talking about 600,000, and this budget is showing 350.
Right.
Now, where is the difference there? I mean, is this, the rest of that 600,000 already been spent, or is that set up for another year after January 1st? I mean, you mentioned 600,000 twice, and this budget showing 350. That, I want to know where the other money is.
In the budget ordinance, it shows 350,000.
Right,
the appropriate.
that's been appropriated.
From the county.
And we're appropriating another 24,000, 25,000.
Right.
Right. The whole project, it should have shown that in the budget, is 600,000.
Right, okay.
Now, there is,
My only question is, where is the rest of the, between the
We do not
350
have that money.
and the 600 that you keep talking about? I want to know where that,
Well, we did,
That
in
money-
the beginning, we talked about phases.
right.
it's still like anything else, you know, you get a grant, you don't get the money, but you budget it. So everything's
Right.
budgeted
Okay.
until it comes in. When the scope of work was drawn up, county manager, before you were here, Hammond, the scope of work was drawn up to cover what we estimated it would be about that much. And the foundational work, stabilizing work, has come to what we're doing now. But as you pointed out, it may be furniture, it may be other things, wherever that scope of work is, it should be somewhere in the file. But that was, that hasn't been spent, obviously, because, we don't have it. We never pursued those donations.
Well, it hasn't been budgeted either.
No.
It hasn't been budgeted.
So that 600,000 is a projection.
Projection of what the cost would be.
Have you got a copy of the full courthouse?
think that when it was discussed originally, the county was going to put in 350, and we were hoping to raise 250.
That would make it 6.
That would make it 6.
Right.
But that was just, I don't know where the 6 came from, that number.
Yeah. All right, Commissioner Jernigan, with that, right, clear there, or we need to.
Yeah, we don't have 600.
And we never budgeted 600.
And we never, and we've not been budgeted.
I need to see that, I need to see the budget expenditure and revenue list before I say we didn't budget it.
Okay.
You know,
Because if you did budget 600, I'd like to sort of be able to see where that was spent, that additional money, if it has been spent. Or we put in 24 when you got plenty.
it's not spent.
Okay.
And it's just, we don't have it because it's never been pursued. It's just like a grant. You spend county money first, and then you get the money back.
Well, if it was budgeted, Mr. Chairman, we would be talking about where to get it from.
Well,
We just moved the
all
money.
right, well, yes, we would, because the county is broken up into the county 350,000. The county put theirs up. You had 250,000 that was budgeted for donations. That's never come in. So we've been spending county money and not the donation money. So, you know, your financial statement shows $600,000 budget under your revenues. They've not come in. But your expenditures only show the 300 and some thousand that's been spent from county money, but you will have,
Hopefully.
yeah. Well, that's the projection.
Right.
If you would like, Melissa's looking, I do know that I do have it in my email, but I did not print it. If you'd like to have a recess, and I can pull it up and show you.
I'm not against spending the 24,000 and pulling it out of fund balance, but you know,
All right.
the 600, I want to see that difference.
Well, what Henry said, what
I
Chairman
know,
said,
it's not coming in.
even in a proper budget, when you have a project, you have a budget, and you budget where those dollars are projected to come from as well. Even if,
Right,
you end up getting $90,000
right.
or even more than what you budgeted. Yeah, Henry's right, Chairman's right in saying that there should be a budget with that line item in there.
Right, and plus the fact, we have not spent over 321,000.
Right.
The flag would go up if we had spent 400,000,
Right.
because all of a sudden, we don't have that much. We only have 250,000 in the county, and the other hasn't come in, so.
That's the reason we're budgeting this additional 24.
Right, to cover,
25.
exactly. And that would change the overall budget to 6-something,
625.
625. Okay, well, let's just looking for that. Do you have a problem with moving forward with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, if we're all clear on this, we would need a motion to authorize the finance officer to do a budget amendment for $25,000 to cover the projected cost for the Clearscape Architect redesign.
Make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I will second that motion, and that will be taken out of,
Fund balance,
Fund balance.
if you can't find it anywhere else. Fund balance. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to say, request that in our October meeting, that this other money where it was proposed should be able to be seen
shown to us.
Right, and I think also county manager is going to do a follow-up on the grant, covenant grant, as well as the donation letter. We need to try to provide Commissioner Harper, provide the county manager a copy of that letter,
Yes, sir.
and also the Historic Society, see what they're willing to do.
And if I can speak on that, I feel pretty comfortable that, I know the West East Wing, we're having a meeting Thursday night, and I know the executive board is recommending that we go ahead and do the rehab work. That's just painting and changing some light things in the East Wing, and we're going to cover that. And I will talk to them Thursday night about additional donation to the West Wing, since they were parties in that too.
Great. All right.
May I ask one more question? About the trees, have you talked to Mr. Perry about starting that work?
Yes, he was contacted and he said he would be here as soon as possible. We took that to mean perhaps 2 to 3 weeks from the date of contact, and I believe he was contacted on that Friday after the commissioners meeting, so we can follow up. And just in case anyone's wondering, the paint on the courthouse is a primer.
Thank you.
We had a little heart failure today.
And we will, we'll be under contract with Mr. Perry on the trees.
Yes.
All right, we'll move forward. Our next item on the agenda is to appoint someone to the EIC board. Who currently serves on that board?
Mr. Robert Williams.
Williams. And he's agreed, it says that he's willing to continue.
Just in here?
Yes.
Okay. All right, looks like Mr. Williams has agreed to continue serving. And, what is the pleasure of the board for appointment or any other nominations?
I make a motion that we reappoint Robert Williams to the EIC board for 5 years.
Second. There's a motion second that we reappoint Robert Williams to a 5-year term. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, we'll send him a letter or a phone call or whatever. All right, the next is the North Carolina Public Library.
The first organization request.
Okay, all right. It appears, I don't know, Councilman, if you want to step in on this, but it says that the goal for public education, the library's goal is to restore funding to the state aid to public libraries fund to the pre-2011 level of $15.7 million and eliminate special provisions that distribute state aid outside of equitable formula developed by the State Library Commission. And it goes on to give their rationale for wanting this. Obviously, public libraries are something that is part of our educational and continuing educational system. And it looks like we will probably need a resolution to send to our state legislators.
Yes. Teresa Cole, who is in charge of the Albemarle Regional Library, said that they are currently receiving a little over $3 million as a whole for the state libraries. And she said that it goes straight into books and other materials budget, as well as technology such as internet access and Wi-Fi that's available in some of the libraries. And she said that she is just asking for the commissioner's support, and that the information you have before you is a draft of the request that the State Public Library Directors Association is going to submit to the legislature as part of the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners legislative goals development issue. So we can either submit a resolution or we can add this to the legislative goals development that we would like to submit from Gates County.
The easiest path of least resistance, and obviously we add it to our goals. But we can still do a resolution and let's praise the board and have you draw, whereas.
Right.
I think both would probably be good. We would send it to our legislative resolution as well as make this one of our legislative goals.
I'm sure we would be the only county to submit that with our goals and with the resolution. I'd be in favor of that.
All right. If that's the case, we will call for a motion to approve making this a legislative goal for the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, as well as submitting a resolution to our legislators in support of this initiative.
I make a motion to approve a resolution and also to add it to our goals.
Second.
All right. Motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to also ask that that be sent to our representatives, our resolution, a copy of it sent to our congressman and senators for
Okay.
almost copies of that.
Very good. All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Cook and Courtney Cook and Walworth.
if we're, I see the timing for the goals submission is right around the corner. On the resolution, I know a lot of times we all sign that, but, I mean, I'd be fine with the chairman signing it, so we don't hold it up.
I have no problem with that.
Okay. All right.
Maybe at the end of that document, say on behalf of the board, you know.
We vote on it? Yes, we did. Okay. All right, the next item is the discussion of the Surrey County resolution on resettling of illegal immigrants. We have that in the package. I'm not so sure how many counties signed up for that. I had some concerns with it a little bit. But I think, when you look at Surrey County is in Texas, well, it's Surrey County, North Carolina.
Chairman, right off the bat, I'm just, while you're looking, I see things that say, whereas El Salvador has failed to enforce Article 367B. And then I see there have been other failures, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, United States of America, the good old USA has failed to secure our borders. Is why we're
we're having to talk about this. I have, you know, if we don't get the chance to write the resolution, if we sign off on this, you know, there are, what, 11 parts to the resolution, and I want to agree with, because we didn't get a chance to write it, I want to sign off on a resolution that I agree with 11 parts, if there are 11 parts to it.
Yes, and that's the concern basically that I had as well. Is that, you know, when we start citing non-performance duties and responsibilities, I certainly like to have some first-hand knowledge that I'm signing up to that and knowing what I'm signing for.
I had concerns about, you know, there is a division of power between state and federal and county and state, and foreign policy comes under the heading of the national government. Even though I do think we have a problem with illegal aliens, I do think we need to do more, but I'm not sure that Gates County Board of Commissioners need to be involved. If we want to be concerned, we can write our own letters to our representatives here in this country about enforcing the laws here.
Who prompted, my concern would be what agency, what group of people prompted Surrey County to come up with a resolution? Did they just take what they heard from that group or that body at face value, assume everything they heard was factual?
Surrey County is located in what part of the state?
It's due west of here at Waters, Virginia.
It's up. I don't know if a lot of illegal aliens come through that area of the state. There are spots in North Carolina, I know around the Fayetteville region, there's a huge number come through. Some in the Mount Olive area come through as workers. I'm not sure about this county,
Yes.
but there is a big problem in parts of the state about human trafficking.
Yeah, there are issues, and certainly I agree with that, but, you know, there again, just like those failures, I think we as a board need to be more attuned to what, you know, the actual situation is. Henderson is around Hendersonville.
Which is not near Henderson.
No.
It's not
Oh,
near
no.
Henderson.
That's it, okay.
She was talking about this one.
Right. Oh, okay, I can.
That's the second one.
Oh, okay. Got so many papers here.
I just think this is something we probably need to leave alone.
All right. Okay, we will,
Needs to be formally tabled.
we've got a non-action on that. This issue just, you know, it's been discussed and there's no action taken on it. We can vote against it or anything. Okay. All right, the next item, here's the last item. Oh, yes. We had a resolution from Henderson County Board of Commissioners. The resolution calling for the release of Sergeant Andrew Tomaresi by the government of Mexico. And it reads, whereas the 25-year-old United States Marine Sergeant Andrew Tomaresi served 2 tours of duty in Afghanistan, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi received a meritorious battle promotion to sergeant while serving in Afghanistan's Helm and Province with 2nd Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi is a member of the Individual Ready Reserve and received an order of muster letter on May 9th requiring him to report to the 4th Civil Affairs Group on June 14th, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi was arrested at the United States-Mexican border on March 31st, 2014, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi vehicle included 3 firearms legally registered in his name in the United States, and whereas Tomaresi, due to road and checkpoint closures, crossed into Mexico inadvertently, and whereas Tomaresi was incarcerated and is still being held in the El Hongo 2 prison in Tecate, Mexico, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder following his service to the United States Marine Corps in Afghanistan, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi's immediate release would allow him to enroll in medical treatment at a clinic specializing in combat-related PTSD in the United States, and whereas Sergeant Tomaresi is neither criminal nor a weapon trafficker, and now therefore be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners of Henderson, or Gates County, urges that the government of Mexico immediately release United States Marine Sergeant Andrew Tomaresi and provides for his swift return to the United States, and that the President of the United States immediately utilize the full powers and authorities of his office and executive branch of the United States government to immediately secure the release of United States Marine Sergeant Andrew Tomaresi. The clerk, the Board of Commissioners shall transmit a letter of this resolution to the President of the United States, each member of the North Carolina Congressional Delegation, United States Department of State, United States Department of Defense, and each county in North Carolina. That is a resolution from Henderson County. Does anyone know, aware of this situation?
It has been on the news. There's been several newscasts about it on the networks about the sergeant, that he was taken at the border with these guns in his car. And it says here that he was, because of road and checkpoint closures.
There've been, what I've seen of it on television, there's been numerous people to have made a wrong turn. From my understanding, it's real convoluted. Do you go to this way or that way? And once you go, you can't. It's designed so you can't turn around the width of a vehicle. And I guess that's because you get in there and you see the authorities, whoa, I need to get out of here. So they make it so that you have to be addressed by the Mexican militia there. Now, what I know of this, I mean, it's all legit. And I would support this from what I know, just following it through television.
And certainly, the more resolutions that come in, it gets the attention of the White House, of the Congress, and it could cause them to act when they see that all the counties are concerned about this.
I was wondering, I don't know what state he's from.
I don't remember, and I can't remember if when he was serving in the Marine Corps, if he was in at Camp Lejeune. I'm not sure. But I have seen numerous TV reports about it.
So we could have the county manager draw up a resolution and do the informational checks on this for our next meeting. Or if the board want to go ahead and pass a resolution and have it signed. I don't know if that urgency is there for this one.
What about sitting in Mexican jail? I think it might be urgent.
Yes, you're right. All right, can we have a motion to support a resolution for the release of Sergeant Andrew Tomaresi by the government of Mexico?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so motion second that we would draw up a resolution and have it signed and submitted to the designated agency. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. You'll get that drawn up. It's probably going to be the same, yeah. Later on. Okay, I believe that's That's all we have on our agenda. Have our citizen comments. No one else has signed up.
Could I make a comment?
Sure, come on down.
I just do. I'd like to thank the board for this additional security we have in the back of the courthouse. As a magistrate, I really appreciate the locking doors and the gates. I'd just like to thank all of y'all for providing that for us.
All
If you
right.
haven't seen it work, you need to, because the bugs are getting worked out and it's working good.
Great. All
I
right.
tried to come in through the back door today and couldn't get in, so I walked to the front. I didn't try to work out.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to also say to Bud, if you or the sheriff's department think of anything else that needs to be done for your safety and everybody's safety, please let us know, or let our county manager down here know for some additional things if you can see it or feel like you need it.
I've got 2 or 3 things. But they're not expensive.
Right, but if you don't tell us, she's not gonna know about it.
Right. I'll be here the rest of the week and I'm gonna come back.
And not only for this building, for our other buildings, if we feel like we need some more security measures put in.
But me, as coming up here unarmed, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's just a different feeling now to come through that gate and be sitting in your office and knowing somebody's got to break that door in or something to get to you. You know, it's locked. Before, John Doe criminal would walk right in that building, and I have seen a lot of troubles out there beyond your imagination.
And this goes to our sheriff's department back there too. If you know of something or see something that you feel like something small would help out, please tell the county manager so she can relate it to
But I
us.
do appreciate what y'all done. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. If nothing else, we'll, commissioner comments? Commissioner Overton?
Thank everyone for coming out. And we're going to get out here a good time tonight. Appreciate your support and your comments. And have a good night.
We thank the 3 of you for coming. Well, and the 4th. Well, he might be working soon. But to the 4 people that are here, and this is for the people that might watch this on video, we had 4 people here tonight. We would like to see more for these type things. And the people that watch it on video, thank you for watching it on the video. But we would also love to see you in here to listen in person. Thank you.
Same thing, and thank y'all for coming tonight. And if you know things that need to be done, let us know. As Commissioner Jernigan said, unless someone says something to us, we don't know. So please feel free to talk to us and question us. I don't think any of us mind that at all. Thank you.
Thank all of you. Half of you from my side of the world.
He rubs that in all the time.
Do thank you for coming in and participating.
All right. I too, ditto. And truly it is good to have citizens of the county to observe what's going on, because many times y'all bring things to our attention that we don't see, and we are here to serve the people of the county. I do have a couple of announcements. I don't know if all of you probably did get it on your email, but the Great Dismal Swamp National Wildlife Refuge is having their 40th anniversary celebration on October 12th. It says a refuge open house, and on the 12th, they've got an agenda from 10 to 5 p.m. Management, program exhibits, art exhibits, archery, point and shoot, activity tents, nature crafts, so forth. And they also going to have an open house on Thursday, October 16th, a guided tour, and Friday the 17th, they call it an owl prowl. So it sounds like, we contribute money to them. They're part of our budgeted support for the state agencies. And certainly our citizens are welcome to participate in that as well.
Chairman, this is the state form, the state building form for the federal.
It is the, okay, U.S. must be federal, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, federal level. Yes, Department of Interior, that's right.
Mr. Chairman, if I can make an announcement, or two announcements of coming events. Next Thursday night, Forge Williams will be speaking about the history of Merchants Mill Pond at our state Merchants Mill Pond facility. It begins at 6:45. And he certainly is an expert on Mill Pond. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about the history of it, he will be speaking at 6:45 at the Visitor Center. And also,
That's Thursday night.
that's Thursday night. And also, and I need to ask this, and I should have asked it while we're still in session. Veterans Day, November 11th, the Historical Society would like to have a program and a ceremony. Unfortunately, the historic courtroom is fine, but we can't get into the building. Would it be possible for us to use this courtroom, since it's a federal holiday, since it's a holiday, it would not be being used. But we have where veterans come in, we have a program and to honor veterans on November 11th.
I think it was open. Shouldn't be a problem.
Well, the Sheriff's Department will be working that day.
We can just double check with, clerk of court, clerk of
Yeah,
court.
What's the time of that?
11 o'clock. Remember, 11 o'clock on the 11th day at 11th hour was armistice. So our program is always at 11 o'clock.
Okay. Also have one other announcement. On Thursday, September 18th at 6 p.m., the Gates County Courthouse, the Gates County Community Development Program is sponsoring a fair housing workshop. Our guest speaker will be Mr. Philip Jordan, investigator of the North Carolina Human Relations Commission. Anyone interested in learning more about fair housing procedures and laws is welcome to attend. Whether you are owners, property managers, nonprofit transitional housing, or shelter managers, members of condo and homeowner association boards, housing authority staff, housing advocates, residents, whatever your role, you must be familiar with the Fair Housing Act as well as the state and local fair housing laws. This knowledge is not only critical to prevent costly violations, it also promotes good business practices. And participants at the workshop receive extensive free fair housing material. And contact person is Valerie Tripp, Special Project Liaison. Okay. If there's nothing else, we will need a motion to go into closed session in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 318, 1183, 4, 5, and 6.
So moved.
Second.
Closed second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Yes, please. All right, we need a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second. All right, motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay. All right, we have several items we need to provide approval for. First one, we need a motion to submit a letter to the businessman, Mr. Mickey Lee, as discussed in the closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, the second item would be to, we need a motion to move forward with submitting the testing results of our soil scientists via MESCO to North Carolina Diener, and also to have the county manager to contact MESCO and provide a more definitive description of the usable land area. So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, the third item would be submit a proposal to the property owner as discussed in closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, if we have no other items, we will need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.